In terms of the here and now, though, Trev, I mean, we'll start with this. It seems like with all the other news, all the other things around it, and the fact that international football's just crap, we are still buzzing that we've got 125 million British record signing. We are still buzzing off this, aren't we?
Oh man, it's so exciting, and I think the way the window ended, it was weird, and natural pessimists had something to lean into, and they almost didn't allow themselves the joy of finally getting this one over the line, and it's massive for us. Um, I'm literally buzzing about seeing that guy play for Liverpool. I love the idea that we may have a really, really effective goal scoring nine. It's so exciting to think, how does he factor into the team? How does the shape change? Is there a version where him and Hugo Ekitike can be in the team, with maybe Ekitike playing slightly left? It's just really, really exciting. If you're not thrilled about this possibility and this potential, you're kind of doing it wrong. But it's more complicated than that, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I haven't been able to enjoy the last couple of weeks, not because of international football being a thing, but because I'm worried about this kid, and the setup. And I know you're going to go there.
Yeah, I think brass tacks, that's what we're going to have to make the call on, because no pre-season at all because of the extenuating circumstances, the saga that dragged on and on right till deadline day. And then this bit, Trev, he goes to the Sweden camp and he plays absolutely 0 minutes in their first game, which John Dahl Tomasson, the Swedish manager, comes out and said, no pre-season, no matches, and that's fine. And now he's on the bench for the Kosovo game, which kicks off in about 45 minutes' time. If he doesn't play a single minute in that Kosovo game, and maybe, I don't know if we do want him to, we don't want him to, that's part of it. Does it not just seem a wasted international trip in the sense of, couldn't we have just kept him behind closed doors with friendlies and training? It just seems a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, I get it very hard to believe that there wasn't some sort of an arrangement at this level with a player that's just broken records in terms of transfer, all the drama around it, all the sort of, I'd say, completely understandable concerns about his, it's 2025, his mental health, in the wake of all of that drama, and being
Right.
utterly pilloried and vilified in the media across the board by people who should know fucking better, Dave, and they don't, and they're an embarrassment. Some of these pundits were an embarrassment, speaking about players like their chattel, like their sort of possessions, and talking with big sanctimonious heads on them about morality and the right way to do things. And listen, I'm increasingly of the opinion that you get one go round in life, and you certainly get one go round as a professional footballer.
Yeah.
You do you, and if he wants this move, and he felt that it had been ironed out, then I have no issues with what he did. I do think that you bring up something really interesting here. There must be an arrangement, because otherwise it's just like a sort of a shit busman's holiday for him to go away and be with a few of his pals, when he's actually got something really important to do, where he could be making his new pals and getting to know the city, getting to know his new place, making sure he's got the right pillow to sleep on. You know what I mean? These kind of basic things that he needs to sort out, and getting, like you said, that training work done under the eyes of the coaches and staff that he will be working with. So I've seen someone in the chat you just posted there, for quite certain that he won't play tonight.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I'll throw it back to you, man. Like, do you actually really want them to? Because part of me thinks, well, this is one of the most pointless things ever if he doesn't play. And we do need him to start playing football. And if he's not, maybe if it means he's back sooner for us, then I'm all for it in a way. I actually am all for it. Like, footballers need to play football. But of course, and this is where I'll throw it back to you, does the injury concern outweigh the fitness concern? It could happen in training back in Liverpool as well. So I don't know.
It could, and I was swithering on this a little bit, but what I'm thinking is, and I can't get away from it, if he doesn't play a single minute against Kosovo, whether it's predetermined, whether it's a chat, whatever that reason is there not a world where Liverpool could have said to Sweden, listen, we're going to keep him for 2 weeks because obviously he's not going to play for you. And Liverpool have a plan. We know Ruben Peters and all, the S&C department know their stuff, but there could have been an intense 2 weeks of, we're going to get you up to speed. You're going to play probably maybe 1, maybe 2 behind closed doors friendlies, that no one knows about. And you maybe have, I'm making it up now, but 15 minutes in one, half an hour in one, something like that, with the idea of, we're going to manage him carefully. And maybe they've got a date in mind, and we'll talk about that shortly. But wouldn't that just have made a lot more sense for everyone? Because then when they're talking to Sweden about the next international break in October, they could have almost sort of joined the dots for them a little bit. Because essentially, if Sweden are going to play him for a single minute, what the hell was the point when we could have had that back? And like you said, get his house sorted, everything else. Surely that would have just helped everyone across the board.
It's really weird. And so it brings us back then to, even if he does play tonight, when do we realistically see a meaningful contribution from him? So we have Burnley, right, on Sunday at Turf Moor. Then we have the following Wednesday,
Atletico, isn't it?
We start with Atletico at Anfield, and then it's the derby on the Saturday at Anfield as well. If I was to say I'd like to see him get a few minutes against Everton, I already have the fear even articulating that sentence, because you know what Everton like to do to our footballers in terms of just kicking them up in the air and season-ending tackles and the like. But it's probably the most likely. I think it might even be a bit fanciful, actually. So if we run it, then there's a Carabao Cup game. Not a chance. So maybe Crystal Palace on the 27th?
Which is the gay derby, as you could call it. That's, like you say, the spice to that all of a sudden. And then if there's not enough spice in that, it's the famous Welcome to Hell and Galatasaray right at the Istanbul, right at the end. Is it fair to say, when you're looking at this, there's not one way you're thinking, nice, easy league game at home, we could be 3 or 4. There's just not in this midst, is there?
The only thing that resembles that is the Carabao Cup game against Southampton. And that's by no means a gimme. And like, if you see the likes of him playing that, or Virgil van Dijk playing that, you really want to jump into the telly and shake someone. So I don't know, man. Maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe he gets a couple of minutes against Atletico, a couple of minutes against Everton, and starts against Palace. Who knows, buddy? It's hard to know where he's at. I read and listened to some very interesting conversations about where his fitness might be, and about the type of fitness that he might have built up, and about how these professional footballers are the kind of creatures that need to work with other professional footballers to get that tempo right. So he could be fit as a fiddle, but that's not what we're really talking about here. So I think I've come all the way back full circle. And for once, I'm going to watch some other lads' football and see if Sweden versus Kosovo gives me some tasty Isak moments to savour. And hopefully he gets match fit ASAP, buddy.
Yeah, it is just so hard. But we know the format of big decisions, and we always agree we'll make a call for it. So where is your gut? And I suppose if I've got to phrase it carefully and fairly, where is the first game Alexander Isak may play half an hour or more for Liverpool?
All right, so you go there half an hour or more. Half an hour or more for Liverpool. I do think it's going to be Palace. I don't think you do that to him in Turkey. And I think Chelsea's too long to wait the 4th of October. So I think he gets a half an hour against Palace in London. And maybe I'm being ridiculously optimistic there, but that would be my shout. What about you?
Yeah, it's the only... I am leaning towards Palace. That sounding like a politician to say this. If it's disaster stations against Everton, say it is a situation where, I know it's an early kickoff, but it's not going well.
Yeah.
I can see him coming on, but my gut is still telling me that's 15 maybe minutes is like an emergency at Chiesa type at the end. So I've got to be honest. I think Palace is before we're seeing real minutes. And I can see people in the chat panel like, surely he should have been keeping fit, and I get this. But I think we need to be crystal clear on this, Trev. There's a difference between keeping fit, semblance of match fitness, and when we're starting to ramp up the serious business with Champions League, being ready to go. There is a huge difference between that, isn't there?
That's exactly what I was saying. That was the point I was trying to make, is that like they're all fit. I mean, you look at the condition that Mo Salah comes back in, and he's the trendsetter at our club. But Alexander Isak, he knew that he was going to want to be playing as soon as possible, so he will be physically in as good a condition. And the thing is, he's been training with a club official who's making sure that he's doing the right things. That's just these are the arrangements that professional athletes have. But the tempo of working with teammates is an entirely different thing, and getting actual match fit. Listen to any of the podcasts with Jan Mulby that I've done over the years, where he'll tell you there's a difference between having your match legs and actually just being fit as a fiddle. So I think, I love the idea of, in case of emergency, break glass around Isak and throw him on the derby and he can do something dramatic. Love that. But I think we're in agreement that it's probably going to be Palace before we see anything of a sample size at all from the lad.
Yeah, I think we need to brace ourselves, people. As much as there is a British record signing, no chances will be taken, and you may just be waiting a good few weeks longer to see serious minutes. But we will have to see what develops on that.